The automatic doors slid open as the bustle of a busy Walmart spilled out into the parking lot. Inside, shoppers moved through the aisles with hurried steps and distracted glances. Among them entered an elderly man named Alex. His clothes were clean but worn. An old beige coat, faded jeans, and a pair of sneakers that had seen better days. His silver hair was neatly combed back, and his posture was upright but slow, the careful pace of someone who had walked through many seasons of life. As he entered, he looked around with a quiet curiosity, his eyes soft, carrying the calm of someone content with simple things. He nodded politely to people who passed him, offering small smiles that went unnoticed. No one greeted him back. A woman pushed her cart past him without so much as a glance, while two teenagers busy on their phones sidestepped him like he wasn't even there. Near the customer service desk, a pair of young employees stood chatting. One of them, a boy with a name tag that read Dylan, leaned toward his colleague and whispered, "He looks homeless. Should he even be in here?" The others snickered, their eyes following Alex as he slowly made his way toward the grocery section. A few feet away, the store's security guard, a broad-shouldered man with sharp eyes, noticed the murmurs and shifted his stance. He adjusted his belt, straightened his posture, and began walking slowly in Alex's direction, eyes fixed on him. Alex, unaware of the attention, stopped by a shelf stacked with loaves of bread. He picked one up gently, checking its date, then placed it in his cart. He moved to the dairy aisle next, his hand trembling slightly as he reached for a carton of milk. Every step he took was deliberate, thoughtful, not the erratic movement of someone causing trouble, but still, the security guard remained just a few paces behind him, pretending to look at shelves while clearly tracking his every move. Alex turned slightly, catching the man's stare, and gave a faint smile. The guard didn't smile back. The store buzzed with announcements over the intercom. Customers filled their carts and laughter rang out from the toy section, but Alex remained a quiet figure among the chaos. A child glanced at him briefly, then turned away as their parent tugged them forward. No one stopped to ask if he needed help. No one offered him a greeting. To them, he was just another old man wandering around. Yet Alex kept walking, gently pushing his cart with the patience of someone who wasn't in a rush. Not to buy, not to prove anything, not to be seen. But he was being watched, and judgment had already been passed. With only a few items in his cart, bread, a carton of milk, and a small plush toy shaped like a puppy, Alex made his way to the self-checkout kiosks near the front of the store. His hands trembled slightly as he reached into his coat pocket, pulling out a worn leather wallet. He scanned the bread, then the milk, the beep of each item registering without issue. But when he tried to scan the toy, the machine emitted a loud beep followed by an error message on the screen. Confused, Alex adjusted the barcode and tried again, but the red light flashed once more. A few people in line behind him began shifting impatiently, their carts filled with weekend groceries and family-sized snacks. From across the checkout area, a man in a navy blue vest spotted the delay and began walking over. His name tag read Ron, Assistant Manager. His expression was tight, his pace brisk, and his demeanor already laced with frustration. Without offering a greeting or asking what the issue was, Ron stepped in front of the machine and glanced at the screen. "Didn't work. Maybe because it's not yours," he said sharply, not bothering to lower his voice. Alex looked up, surprised, his voice soft and calm. "I was just trying to scan it." "I'm not sure why it's not working." But Ron was already shaking his head, arms crossed. "Look, this is not a place to hang around, all right? If you're not buying anything, I need you to leave. We've had enough of this nonsense today." A few people nearby turned their heads. One woman paused mid-swipe at her kiosk. Another shopper took out their phone, subtly pointing the camera in Alex's direction. The quiet buzz of the store faded into a tense silence as whispers began circulating between onlookers. "What's happening?" someone asked. "They caught a guy trying to steal," another replied. "Mr. Alex," she said with urgency, "we're running late for your 3 o'clock with the board at Ellington Properties. They're already gathered in the main conference room." Her voice was clear, crisp, and professional, the tone reserved for high-level executives. Ron, still standing inside the store, went pale. The name Ellington Properties was well known, a massive real estate firm with holdings across the state, and the man he had just thrown out with suspicion and arrogance was apparently the one who owned it all. Alex turned slightly, his eyes meeting the store's glass entrance for a brief moment. He didn't show anger or satisfaction, just a quiet, tired calm. Then he looked away, stepped into the car without a word, and sat back as the chauffeur closed the door behind him. The Rolls-Royce pulled away slowly, leaving behind a stunned silence in the Walmart parking lot. The building that once rejected him grew smaller in the rearview mirror, but the impact of his silent dignity lingered like an echo no one could ignore. By morning, the internet had caught fire. The video, captured on a shaky phone camera by a bystander, showed a frail old man being confronted by a Walmart manager and wrongly accused of shoplifting. Just minutes later, the same man was seen stepping into a luxury Rolls-Royce. The video was titled, "Walmart Kicks Out Billionaire Thinking He's Homeless," and had been shared over 2 million times across platforms within hours. Hashtags like Respect the Elderly and Walmart Scandal began trending globally. Outrage swept through comment sections, where thousands of people condemned the treatment Alex had endured. Influencers, journalists, and even celebrities posted reactions, calling it a disgraceful example of judging by appearance. News outlets picked up the story, running headlines like "Real Estate Tycoon Humiliated at Walmart" and "Silent Class Exposed Elitist Behavior Without Saying a Word." Inside Walmart's regional corporate office, the atmosphere was tense. Emails buzzed, phones rang nonstop, and a damage control team scrambled to prepare statements. The HR department flagged the incident for internal review, and Ron, the manager from the store, was summoned. He arrived pale, his collar stiff, sweat clinging to the back of his neck. He sat quietly in the waiting room, trying to appear composed while his mind raced with fear and regret. A door opened, and the regional director stepped out, beckoning him inside. As Ron entered the room, he froze. There, seated at the head of the long conference table, was Alex, not in a worn coat this time, but in a custom charcoal gray suit, polished shoes, and a presence that demanded respect without uttering a word. His eyes met Ron's with calm intensity. He didn't need to raise his voice. His presence alone told a story the world had already heard. The room remained silent for a long moment before Alex finally spoke. His voice was calm, steady, and carried the weight of quiet authority. "This was never about being kicked out," he said, his eyes focused not just on Ron, but on everyone in the room. "It was about how easily we decide someone's worth by their clothes, their age, or how much they seem to have. We forget the value of dignity." The executives listened, humbled. There was no anger in Alex's tone, no threats, no demands. Instead, he reached into his briefcase and placed a single envelope on the table. Inside was a pledge, a $2 million donation to a foundation dedicated to supporting low-income senior citizens across the country. He asked for nothing in return, no press, no favors, just a request that people be treated with kindness. Ron, eyes lowered in shame, stood and apologized publicly, his voice shaking as he admitted his failure. Walmart's corporate office later issued a formal apology to Alex and announced a company-wide initiative focused on empathy training, customer respect, and age sensitivity. The story would be remembered not just as a scandal, but as a turning point, sparked by quiet strength and unmatched grace. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting a warm, golden glow over the quiet park. Children played on swings and slides, their laughter echoing softly through the trees. Alex stood near a bench beneath a wide oak, dressed simply once more, no suit, no driver, just the same old man with gentle eyes and a kind smile. In his hands, he held the small plush toy he had tried to buy at Walmart, the one that caused all the trouble. A little boy ran nearby, his shoes scuffed and his sweater a size too big. Alex called him over with a soft smile, knelt slowly, and handed him the toy. The boy's face lit up with surprise and joy, clutching it tightly as if it were treasure. He looked up and said, "Thank you, mister." Alex just nodded, patting the boy's shoulder gently before rising to his feet. As he watched the child run off, the breeze rustled the leaves above, peaceful and light. Alex blinked, a mixture of confusion and hurt crossing his face. He opened his wallet to show a neatly folded $20 bill, his hand shaking not from guilt, but from the sting of being wrongly accused. Ron didn't look. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be," he said coldly. "Either walk out now, or I'll call the police." There was no anger in Alex's eyes, only sadness. His gaze drifted to the toy, still sitting on the scanner, then to the bread and milk in the bagging area. He didn't say a word. He simply stepped back, slowly reaching for his coat's buttons as he gently refastened them. His dignity remained intact, but his spirit bore the fresh bruise of humiliation. Without looking at anyone, without defending himself, Alex turned and walked toward the exit, his head slightly lowered. The doors slid open once again, but this time he wasn't just stepping into the parking lot. He was walking away from the coldness of a world that judged kindness by clothing and worth by appearance. The afternoon sun had begun to dip slightly, casting a golden hue over the parking lot as Alex stepped outside the Walmart doors. He paused for a moment, adjusting his coat and breathing in the crisp air, his expression unreadable. The world outside seemed quieter than inside, less judgmental, but the sting of what had just happened clung to him like dust. Just then, the low hum of an approaching engine grew louder. From the far end of the lot, a sleek black Rolls-Royce glided forward, its polished body gleaming under the sunlight. It moved with graceful precision, stopping smoothly in front of Alex. The driver's door opened immediately, and a sharply dressed chauffeur in a dark uniform stepped out with urgency. He walked swiftly around the car, opened the rear passenger door with a respectful bow, and said, "Sir, I'm so sorry for the delay." From the automatic doors of Walmart, Ron stood frozen, still near the self-checkout area, eyes wide in disbelief as he looked through the glass. Several shoppers who had witnessed the incident also turned to see the sudden arrival of the luxury vehicle. Conversations halted. Phones were raised again, not in mockery this time, but in awe and confusion. The same man they had dismissed, insulted, and judged was now being treated with the kind of respect reserved for royalty. Alex, without speaking, offered a small nod to the chauffeur and stepped toward the car. Before he could enter, another door opened. A young woman stepped out from the other side, tall, poised, and dressed in a tailored navy blue suit. Her heels clicked smartly against the pavement as she moved with purpose toward Alex. She held a tablet in one hand and a folder in the other, her face focused but respectful. In that quiet moment, a voice echoed in the air like a memory, calm and wise. "Don't judge someone by their clothes. You never know the heart or the story behind them." And with that, Alex turned and walked on, leaving only kindness behind.